Hello, welcome back to StarCraft 2. Today I'm going to be reviewing Plays to Be by snakyboiyt. Going to try to link his channel in the bio. Just gonna point out a few things I think will help him in the future, as well as some issues I see while the match starts. As we're loading in here, quick run through the esports rules. No units other than scouting units pass the line before 4 minutes. 25-minute matches. I think that's about it for best 2 out of 3. We're only watching the first match here, or might be the first match, don't know. For Snaky. In the future, I'm going to be making longer videos with 2 or 3 matches in them, going over other people's. But here we go. Okay, right off start, bird. I just got handed a bird, so that's going to be distracting. Right off start, he does not opt for a worker. He goes for an assimilator. Usually you're going to want to get a worker, and then get enough crystals for a second worker, and then place a pylon before thinking about gas. Because it takes you a while to build up through the tech tree before you're going to need any amount of gas. He goes for the pylon after he gets the gas going. Worker idle. Hate to see it. Happens sometimes, but what can you do? Only 2 workers on the Vespine, so he's not taking full advantage of it yet. Gotta make sure to keep those going. Remember to put your workers into a shift queue after making something, that way they get right back to work and you don't have to think about it. Just an extra click. He goes for a second assimilator before maxing out his crystals. Usually you want to max out your crystal production first thing before going for a second assimilator. You don't even have a gateway up yet. First assimilator still out 2 out of 3, and you only got 15 crystal workers. We're at 1:34. Would like to usually see the gateway up and maybe a temple by now. Or not a temple, cybernetics core. A few seconds after, there goes the cybernetics core. Different probe on the pylon there. Ooh, those pylons are really close together. In the future, you should probably spread them out more. Ooh, more already? Oh, no. Cancelled them. Still no production from the gateway. He has fixed the problems with the assimilators and now on 3 out of 3, but he still has not maxed out his crystal worker yet. See if he gets gateway upgrade going. Yep, there it is. Still no work production on the gateway. There it is. We are now at 235. He has no army units yet, but he's working on it. Check on the opponent. Opponent is in a much worse position. No gateways at all. There goes the first gateway. So, under normal conditions, I'm rooting for Snaky to win this one. So far, I can tell he should. Again, pylons really close together. Would have loved to see more probes instead of pylons, especially considering the fact that your max supply is 63 and you only have 26 being used right now. You have double the amount of supply you actually need. And you're not really using up your power fields to the point where you need more. Crystals are maxed out. At this point, I'd like to see a base expansion, get another supply line. One of the most important things in StarCraft is making sure you always have an advantage on your crystals. Another way to make sure you're always producing probes that I've learned that works really well is have your base in a control group. So that way it's always, you can just hit your control group and then start producing more. In the future, make sure you're setting a rally point for your troops, that way they're not getting clogged up in your base. Again, more 8 probes, 3 of them. And super really close pylons. A good way to take, if you notice you have a lot of unworking probes, just hold shift and spam F1 and it'll get all of your probes selected for you. You can get back to work. Gateway upgrade finished. He's going in for a battery, field battery. Usually I'd place it in my mineral line. I'm not going to worry about protecting up here yet. If I were, I'd go for some photon cannons, which are the best defense in the game, I've found. They can get air, they can get ground, they do a decent amount of damage, they're detectors, cost 0 supply. Make sure you always have a few of those. We're seeing our Templar archives go down here at 448. Decent timing, we're oversupplied on our guns though. He's got a decent stalker army up right now. I would love to see more scouting from this guy. He could go for maybe some work base. Make sure he knows what his enemy is doing so he knows if he can do a massive timing attack right now. Honestly, if he had some scouts in there, I would have sent those 6 stalkers in. If nothing else, just to scout and do some work or harass. It is 521, so he is allowed to attack right now. He could have gotten a few probes. Although his enemy is getting up to a better economy than he has at the moment. I get the feeling that if his enemy was more efficient about using his resources, Snaky would not have the advantage he does in this match. Hi, bird. People can hear you, by the way. Really like my shoulder, huh? Okay. We have a Stargate down from Snaky. No production from it quite yet. Another gateway going down. Chrono boost on the gateway to speed up his transformation. Little bit of a waste there, in my opinion. All it does is save a couple of seconds for your gateway. And again, you have a lot of troops you can go for an attack. No upgrades yet from Snaky as well, while his enemies have weapons 1. Always remember that upgrades don't hurt. You can just throw one on the back burner, get it going. Get that advantage that you can always have over your opponent. Check in on our opponent here. Max out on crystals, actually over mining. Good Vespine production. He's up to a decent chunk of army, but a lot. Bunch of pylons nested in one place. Not the best decisions from our other Protoss player. Checking back in on the base. Single Phoenix from the gateway. Stargate, I mean. Some Dark Templars coming down too. Didn't notice the Dark Shrine going down. We do what we do. Another gateway coming up. Again, I would love to see another base expansion sooner out of Snaky. I think he's going for one now. Oh, just mining from the crystals down there. Again, resources are the most important thing in StarCraft. Make sure you have a lot of them. Never hurts. Again, he has a decently large army right here. 62 supply to 50. Always make sure you're scouting. I would have loved to see that Phoenix go for a scout instead of just sitting here with his arm. He could check, see if they've got detectors or anything, go for a Dark Templar rush maybe. No robotics bay, by the way, I just noticed that. Missing out on a whole branch of Protoss tech that he could be using, either scout or do some damage. So usually want observers, especially going up against another Protoss, that way you don't get smacked by a bunch of Dark Templars when you go for a fight. Hey, bird. Hey, don't bite me. Up. Yeah. And again, we're really low on our crystals here, our crystal miners. Really would like to see more worker production. Yeah, overall, he only has 22 probes this match. He's being out-probed. The enemy does have a second base going down, keeping that resource advantage going for him. More AFK probes again. Probably still from the first build of the Dark Shrines. Stargate's still sitting there, nothing happening with that. I would appreciate seeing a pylon up here. That way you can warp in your troops to your spawning location if you're not worried about an attack. Also some Archons. I would actually prefer seeing the Dark Templars themselves instead of going for Archons here. Especially since you haven't researched Psionic Storm yet. Archons aren't going to do much more damage than Dark Templars, if not less. Although they are slightly tankier, but they don't have the invisibility either. Second base finally going down from Snaky here as well. Although more AFK probes. He's also really behind on his, English? Hi, yeah, I need you to come back. Really behind on the upgrades for his weapons and armor. We'll see how that affects him in the next fight. Although he is definitely ahead on his unit production, really focused in on what he wants, Stalkers. Stalkers are one of the most powerful early game Protoss units as well. Oh, Snaky Boy's moving out, about to go for an on the attack maybe? Nope, he's gonna keep his units there. Still underworked. Looks like we're down to only 12 workers needed on the main base, but still a bunch of AFKers. There's no workers working the second crystal patch like they could be, especially now that the second base is down. Not getting any worth out of it. He's moving up towards the... No, he's backing off again. When you go for a rush, you don't want to do stuff like this, backing off and up and off. Especially in a condition where you could get sidelined at any time. You don't know where your enemy's at because you haven't scouted them yet. This is what Snaky Boy has to see. This is just his army path has been able to scout so far. He hasn't gotten anywhere near the enemy base yet. Switching back to our full view here, getting over to our other enemy. He has also not scouted, but he has a decent chunk of army right here. No shield battery to back it up though. Snaky Boy's army is still sitting over here on its own. Would love to see a warp present in these conditions so he can warp in his army to here instead of spawning it at his base like he's been doing. So these final two Stalkers, it looks like, are going to be a little bit late to the party. Ooh, Phoenix rushing in ahead. Let me pause it real here. Make sure you're walking in your army slow enough that you don't have situations like that where your Phoenix gets in before the rest of your army. It's really bad when stuff like that happens because you just wasted that Phoenix. It did little to no damage and it's not beneficial, where in the mass of an army full-on clash, it might not get focused down like that. Get a lot more worth out of it. Few units going down here for Snaky Boy. Dark Templars doing some work on the ground though. No invisibility viewing from our Protoss in blue. Eventually taking down their full army. Honestly, Snaky Boy would have a lot easier time there if he had spent... He lost 1,300 resources, as you can see in that battle. I would have loved to see him, instead of investing those 1,300 into his army, putting those 1,300 into upgrade points. That way his army is just a bit stronger and doesn't have to worry about it next time. We go for the attack on the base. Ooh, it's AFK. The army's AFK for a bit. Wasting time as we're going for our end. Just ignores the second base and its workers. Instead of moving up, going for a pylon. Some units get distracted. Again, going for pylons. Real quick, some logic while attacking a base. Always go for workers first, if you can, without being attacked, because workers will are the only way for your enemy to build. They can't rebuild bases or anything if they don't have workers or resources to do so. If they accidentally spend all their resources on a base that you take out, then they are stuck and don't have a way to come back into this game. The only thing that should take priority over workers is things that are producing enemies. As you can see right here, you can see a gateway or a Stargate producing something. Gateways are not, but the base is also warping in a mothership. There's a particular animation that a Nexus will only do if they're warping in a mothership. So if you're attacking a base, look for that and take out the base that is warping in the mothership as quickly as you can, because you don't want to have to deal with that mothership once it's up. It can save a base, especially if your army is a bit weaker towards air. Like, unfortunately for our Protoss and Blue, Snaky's army is not weak towards air, but let's keep walking and see how the moves that Snaky's doing is going to affect his speed at taking down the enemy base here. Protoss has not switched where their mothership is going to go to after it spawns in, but real quick, let's note, mothership comes up, Snaky Boy really late to the reaction, the mothership nearly re-engages. He gets a re-engage, Snaky Boy seems to have some trouble macroing his units, doesn't immediately focus down the mothership. Eventually the mothership goes down and he goes back to destroying the base, and then a Tempest comes up. Again, it gets a shot off before getting killed, but very preventable. Again, still not focusing the gateway quickly enough. Power goes down for the Stargate. Stargate goes down. And a surrender from our Protoss and Blue. Well played again from both teams. I would still think that Snaky has a lot to improve on, and Protoss and Blue still haven't played you. Don't know if you want me to make these kinds of videos for you, but reach out if you see this, Jayberg. I'll do my best to help you. Snaky, I would love to see you work on your economy speed more. You ended up focusing a bit too much on your other stuff and not very fast on producing. Probe AFK was one of the biggest issue that I can see out of everything here. So, well, until next time, I'm probably going to be posting another video here quite soon of me going over my own matches, what I did to be stronger than my opponent, and how I could have improved, the mistakes I made. And I'm also going to be going over my teammates' matches, Sticky Pigeon and Azazel individually as well. You should see those up within the next week. Any people I play against that have a YouTube will be in the bio, so you can go check out their reactions to my opinions on their matches or anything else you would like to know. These matches are played through the NSCSA, staged in Nebraska. Most of the matches you'll be seeing are Division 4, which is what my school is in, as we try our best to make it to state. So, wish us luck. And until next time, have a good